Hi everyone, my name is Bradley Duncan. I'm a product manager over at ndMail, and today we're going to do a quick demo, a quick little training on ndMail for you so you can learn how to use the basic features of it. If you'd like to dive into more of the advanced features or settings, please check out our support site for the documentation on that. So we're going to get started here with the basic premise of ndMail, and that is predictive email filing. So if you look at my mailbox right here, I'm looking at this email message and it has, a subject and it's got a number of people in the to, the from, or the CC field. Well, NetDocuments automatically takes all of that data of the email message and it compares that email message to all of the email messages that are stored in your NetDocuments account. And it returns the locations where those similar email messages are most frequently stored. So you can see here those locations. I'm going to go ahead and file this one, and it's really just as easy as checking the box next to the location that you want to file to. In this case, it's this Bradley's work folder underneath this selection for new president matter, and then move off the email message. And that's all you have to do. The default behavior is that one-click filing. You can turn on some other features like file and move to move it out automatically or other things, but it's done. That item is filed, and you see here, if on the screen, it's got a little check mark next to it now. That check mark is what we call a global filing indicator, and that tells you and anyone else that's copied on that email message that that item is filed. So that's the beauty here, is it's a shared indicator. In fact, everyone else who has access to that location that it's filed to will see exactly this that I see right here. They'll see that yes, it is filed, and they will see where it's filed to if they have access to that location. You can also search for locations. If it's not coming up in predictions, you can go ahead and search. You can see your recent favorites or recent workspaces. You can find the location you need to file to there. You can rename the email message or set access on that email message as needed in those cases where you might need to do so. But otherwise, just remember that it will automatically set the access and inherit the access from the location that you're filing to. The other thing you can do and this is a really powerful feature, is as you're drafting a new email message or even replying to an existing one or forwarding an existing email message, you can file that item on send. Now this is very powerful because the recipients of this email message will immediately see that item has been filed. So as I'm drafting up that email message, and maybe I'm adding people in the to, the from, the CC field, as I'm drafting that email message up, those predictions are generating in real time and updating in real time. And that gives you the most accurate predictions when you're finished drafting this email message, so that all you have to do as a last step is you can click that location for the location you want to file that email message to and go ahead and send that item. That's going to send that item off, and it will land in the recipient's mailboxes with that global filing indicator checkmark checked and the location checked of where you filed it to, so that they don't even have to do any work. They can just see that it's filed, and if they don't need to action that email, they can just move on. It's a very powerful feature that we'd encourage you to use to file on send. The next thing we want to talk about is another method of filing email messages in NetDocuments, and that's called folder mapping. And this is for users who have a folder tree over on the left-hand side that they want to map to instead of using the predictive one-click filing there that we showed you. To do this, you pick a folder that's in your mailbox. You can right-click on that folder, choose Map Folder to ND, and in your list, you will see all of your recent workspaces, favorite workspaces, and all of the other locations that you work with day in, day out. You can select a location, a workspace, a folder, or a filter, and once you select that location, you can also profile it if it's needed after that. Once we set that, it's going to give us a few more options. Those options will include things like setting the access on all of those email messages that are filed, on deleting those email messages after they're filed successfully so that you can clean up your mailbox that way, and some other things of what to do with existing email messages. Once that linkage is in place and we set up that link, it will be linked from that point forward. So any email messages that you drag and drop into that mailbox folder in the background will be synced up to NetDocuments, will be imported into that location in NetDocuments for a pretty seamless scenario. Additionally, any email messages that are filed that way, everyone else who is copied on those email messages will see that item has been filed, and so they will again see where that item has been filed. It doesn't matter how you file that item, we're gonna show them where that item has been filed if they have access to that location, and show them that shared global filing indicator. So there's a couple different methods to get items into NetDocuments. One of the other methods to get either documents or emails into NetDocuments is through this panel on the bottom left. This panel on the bottom left here is a window into your NetDocuments account. So it shows all of your NetDocuments content down there, including your recent workspaces and favorite workspaces. You can drag and drop to that panel. You can even take documents off of email messages and drag and drop them to that panel. It will prompt you for any profile attributes that are needed for a particular document or a particular email message. The other thing that this panel allows you to do is it allows you to browse and view and work with email messages and documents right from within Outlook. So we can preview those email messages, we can work with those email messages in here in Outlook, but from NetDocuments. We can also search for items in the folder or in the location where I'm at. So I'm in this pension lawsuit matter. I can go ahead and search for things in there. So maybe I'm interested in something that's titled litigation. I can go ahead and search for that. And that's just going to do a quick search on the subject. I can pick down here and I could search everything, which would do a full text search in that location, or I can choose any of these other options. And I can get to some other search functionality through advanced search. You can set up these columns over in your ND Office settings. So you can set up these columns to include the to, from, and CC, for example. You can access your attachments if there are any on an email message right from here. And you can also right click on any item, be it an email or a document from here, and you can access all of the related options that are available in ND Office. So that might be things like working with versions if you're on a document that has multiple versions, emailing a copy of an item, printing it from here, you can right click and print, or you can open it and immediately generate a new version and start working on that new version. And that's a really seamless workflow when you're working with those documents. If it is an email that you've right-clicked on, you can also reply all, or forward that email message right from here, even though that item is stored in NetDocuments. Launch a draft message, and away you go. So some pretty powerful tools for managing and working with your email messages in NetDocuments. Would encourage you to dig into this, and I just want to remind you, we've only scratched the surface here to the functionality of ndMail and shown you just some of the basics. I'd encourage you to look at our support site, that's support.netdocuments.com, for additional documentation on some of the more advanced and power user features of ndMail. Thank you for joining us today.